Good morning, loved ones.
Good morning.
It's good to see you here. It's good to be back. I appreciate the time off to celebrate my birth week. And wow, did we celebrate. And Kathy documented the whole thing. And I'm not sure that I like the technology of having cameras in our phones. Because if you notice those Facebook photos that she posted, in every one of them I was eating. I'm not sure that I like everyone knowing that I basically made my way down Main Street of Julian taste testing every pie. But we had a great celebration. But it's good to be together with like-minded people. And I like to say it's good to be together with like-hearted people. You know, in our everyday lives, we go out into the world, and the world seems obsessed, talking about and perpetuating these false ideas and beliefs and superstitions about lack and limitation and illness and disease and poverty. And I keep going like this because it kind of sticks to you, it kind of gets on you, and then we pull ourselves away from it, keeping our appointment, like Reverend Ada said. And we come here on Sunday mornings to empty ourselves of that, wash it off, and to be filled up again with the truth that we are eternal beings made in the image and likeness of unconditional love, that we are inherently good, perfect, and whole and complete. So we can be lifted up in that way. And when we're lifted up, we lift others up. You know, I've told some of you that about my magical mystery bus tour. When I fixed up an old school bus, I traveled from Nashville, Tennessee, across to the Pacific coast, up to Vancouver, and basically coasted all the way down to Yuma. And that's where the real story begins. But while I was up in Northern California, I spent some time at a Buddhist monastery called Shasta Abbey. And I remember one evening walking in the gardens there with one of the monks that had been there since it was founded, like 1975, 1976, and I was just so intrigued by that lifestyle. And I remember asking him, or saying to him something to the effect of, wow, it would really take a strong sense of commitment to live the life that you've chosen. And he turned to me, I'll never forget what he said. He said, "In here, it's easy. It's outside, on the other side of those walls, where living your spirituality is difficult." Wow. You and I are living basically where the rubber hits the road, with one foot in the spiritual and one foot in the material. So we come here to remember who we are, to be recharged and rejuvenated. And that's why this time on Sunday mornings is so precious to me, so important to me, every aspect of it, because I want to be lifted up. I want to be enthused and encouraged in my spiritual walk, and I want the same thing for you. So it's good to be back with you again. Talking about the Buddhist monk reminds me of a story of a man who wanted to become a monk. So he went to the head monk, and then the head monk told him, well, this particular order adheres to a very strict vow of silence, and you'll have to stay in the silence for 5 years. At the end of that 5 years, we'll meet again, and then you'll be allowed to speak 2 words. So the man signed up, and he became a monk, and he kept his vow of silence for 5 years. He met with the head monk, who congratulated him and then offered him the opportunity to speak. The man said, "Bed, hard." And the head monk said, "Well, thank you very much. Glad to hear what's on the minds of our novices." And the man goes back to doing the monk thing, and again, another 5 years. He makes it through. He meets with the head monk, who congratulates him, opens the floor for him to speak 2 words. The man says, "Food, bad." The head monk says, "Well, thanks, I'll see what I can do about that." The man goes back to his monkdom, and again, he does it. Another 5 years. He's been in this vow of silence for 15 years. He meets with the head monk, who congratulates him, opens the floor for him to speak 2 words. The man says, "I quit." The head monk said, "I'm not surprised. All you've done is complain since you've been here." I'm not sure what that has to do with my talk. When last we met, my talk was entitled, In the Beginning, ... love. Got to have the dots in there. Anticipation. What's it going to be? In the beginning. The Hebrew Torah begins with the words, in the beginning, God. We know that God is this energy. We can call it life. We can call it unconditional love. So we can say, in the beginning, love. And we talked about the first principle of unity, which is there is only one power and presence, and we can call it unconditional love. The second principle of unity just naturally and easily follows. If everything comes from that unconditional love, we are made of unconditional love. Our natural state is unconditional love. And when we live in that natural state of love, things like compassion and generosity, support and kindness and gentleness just easily flow from us because we're lifted up. We're in a higher place. And as a result, we lift others up, we can lift up our community, and we lift up the world. So, when last we met, I shared with you the work of Dr. Masaru Emoto, who wrote the Hidden Messages in Water. And he and his team did several experiments on pure water. They prayed over the water. They played different kinds of music, rock music or classical music, and they saw the effects on the water crystals. One of the things they did was just to simply write words or messages or phrases on a blank piece of paper, tape it to the water container, freeze it, and then observe the water crystals under the microscope to see if there was any effect. This is a photograph of water that was exposed to the word truth. Isn't that beautiful? And this next photograph is water that was exposed to the words love and gratitude. Can you imagine if our bodies are 50 to 80% water and 70% of the Earth's surface is covered with water, the effect that that has on our physical bodies and on the healing of our planet? Amazing, isn't it? And of course, we're familiar with a lot of different studies about the healing powers of positive emotions like love, like on animals. You're probably familiar with that, even with your own animals, or with plants. You've heard of studies where people speak kind words, positive emotions towards their plants, or they play beautiful music, and sure enough, the plants blossom and grow, and they're filled with health and vitality. Positive emotions like love and peace and joy have that effect on everything in our planet. Well, this morning I want to share with you some of the work of the Institute of Heart Math. Are you familiar with that? Heart Math has been doing research on heart-brain connection, practical intuition, the intelligence of the heart, many things like that. And one of the most fascinating things that they've discovered is that there is an electromagnetic field emanating from the heart, surrounding each one of our hearts. And this field is different than prana or chi that we've known about for over 5,000 years. It's electromagnetic, emanating out from each one of our hearts, going out in all directions, kind of like a donut or an inner tube. Can you envision that? Mine's bright yellow with a little rubber ducky coming out the front of it. Can you see it? No, actually it looks kind of like this. An electromagnetic field emanating out from each one of us in all directions, and they've measured it up to 8 feet. You know why they've figured out it's 8 feet, at least 8 feet? Because that's as far as their instruments can measure right now. It might be going out even further than that. So what does that mean if, especially in our cozy little center here, if there's an electromagnetic field going out from each one of us, it means that we're all connected. And it also means that that electromagnetic field going out from you is having an influence on the person next to you, and the same in return. They've also discovered that this electromagnetic field can change according to your emotions. You're not surprised by that, are you? No. I had a photograph of a graph that was a heart that was sending out an electromagnetic field of stressful emotions, and but it didn't translate very well. We changed it, didn't we, Kathy? You want to put that? Anyway, I had this photograph. It didn't really look very well. It was stressful emotions, and then the graph of someone that was emitting an electromagnetic field of positive emotions. The person the graph kind of looked like the stressful emotions. It kind of looked like this. Like that. You get it? Yeah. And the electromagnetic field emanating from a person who was emitting positive emotions kind of looked like that. You get it? Yes. So, a couple of other things about the Institute of Heart Math is that they found that the electrical impulse emanating from each one of us is 40 to 60 times greater than that of the brain. And the heart's magnetic field, get this, is 5,000 times greater than that of the brain. So I know that many of us have been trying to think thoughts, positive thoughts. And although we appreciate the mind's abilities, the brain's function, our intellect, what we're finding out is that it's not the intellect, it's not the thought that's the creative factor, it's our feeling that's creative. Isn't it amazing that this place that has long been the center of all those things that make us who we are, love and compassion and kindness and generosity, this place that holds our deepest beliefs about ourselves, about life, about God, about others, has the power, the energy, not only to change our bodies, but to alter our lives and to alter our world. This is great information. And we go out into the world knowing this truth, that our hearts lead the way. So I want to give you the 3-step process for engaging the power of love in your life. And it begins with quieting the mind. So, take your focus, first of all, physically, just relax your head, relax the crown, relax the brow, relax the jaw and the neck and the shoulders. On a mental level, quiet the mind chatter, let go of the thinking. And then the second step is to place your full attention on the heart area. You might even want to put your hands on your heart when you do this, or your hands out like this, like there's a ball of energy there. I like to bow my head as if to be observing the heart area. And in this place, allow yourself to feel and know only positive emotions, like joy. So you might say, oh, I remember joy. I felt joy when I was at the amusement park back in 19 That's the brain's activity. Remembering or imaging, but extract that feeling of joy from that experience and feel joy in your heart. Or it might be love. Oh, I remember love when I got my first puppy and my dad was doing this. That's the brain's activity. So rather than thinking about numbers or dates or imaging anything, just extract that feeling of love and allow it to feel your heart. With your full attention on your heart, allow your heart to be nurtured, to be massaged, to be honored. Allow your heart to take the throne of your life. So that's a simple 3-step process for engaging the power of love in your heart. You know, it's no surprise that many of the greatest spiritual teachers have been depicted as having wide open, blazing hearts. Because unlocking the heart's essential expression is a sign of spiritual maturity. Accessing this ability of the heart, the power of the heart, these things like love and compassion and generosity and support, and responding to life with this lifts ourselves up, and lifts other people up, and goes out and actually ignites evolutionary currents in your life and in our community and in our world. So I want to leave you with this quote by Albert Einstein, who said that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be changed from one form or another. So since energy can only be transformed or transmuted, and we have the ability to transmit this energy, why not transmit love? Let's all transmit love, shall we? Let's all know together that love is the most powerful force in the universe. Shall we say yes to that?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, well, let's go into a meditation time here. And we'll take the opportunity to do this 3-step process. Allow